Hello folks, my name is Rui Pimentel. I'm a database administrator and hold some certifications like MCDBA from Microsoft. Currently I am a Dell employee and there I help to support SQL Server instance. In this lesson, you will learn to configure log shipping in SQL Server 2005. There are three ways to configure it: by SQL Server Management Studio, by Transact SQL statements, and by SQL Server Management Objects. We will use the Management Studio in this lesson. The four general steps are: enable the primary database for log shipping, set log shipping backup options, enable secondary servers, set log shipping restore options. Before we proceed to the log shipping configuration, it is necessary to prepare the environment. In the server array that will hold the primary database, we need to create a folder that will hold the transaction log backups, that will be copied to the server B that will hold the secondary database. We open the Windows Explorer. In my server, I already got a backup folder. Now I create the new folder and name it as log shipping. Because I can set log shipping for other database in my instance, I'm creating a folder to the database of this lesson and give the name of the database for the folder. Here, testdb. Now it's necessary to create a network share for this folder, for server B be able to copy the log files to its local folder. The only necessary allow permission is read. Now, in the server B, we create the log shipping folder and the folder named copy, which will hold the copied transaction log files, and inside this folder another one for the database. In this case, it is not necessary to create a network share. Now I'm opening the SQL Server Management Studio and connect to my database engine instance. Expand the database folder and right-click the database, testdb in my case. Then go to Properties. Go to Options and change the recovery model to Full. This is a requirement for log shipping configuration. Click OK. Right-click the database again and go to Tasks and Ship Transaction Logs. Click on this checkbox to enable the database as the primary. Go to Backup Setting button. Here you fill with the network share path of the folder you created earlier. Here you put the physical location of the folder. This is only valid if the folder is on the primary server. If don't, you leave it blank. This box allows you to set the amount of time you want to retain your transaction log. Here you set a threshold to alert you if no backup occurs. Now we are going to schedule the backups. This screen allows you to set the frequency that backups are taken according to your environment. For this example, I'm setting to every 1 minute. At this point, the primary server configurations are set. Now, we are going to configure the secondary database. Click Add. Click Connect and choose your secondary server. It gives the name of the secondary database, the same name of your primary, but you can change it. To initialize the secondary database, we will use the option that generate and restore and create the database on the secondary server. Here you can change the data files path, but in our example it is not necessary. In the Copy Files tab, we inform the local folder of the secondary server that will store the transaction log. I am typing here the folder created earlier for this purpose. Now we must schedule the copy process. Here, for our example, I am going to set to occur every 1 minute. Click OK. Click on the Restore Transaction Log tab. The default option is to leave the database in the no recovery mode, which will leave the database inaccessible on the secondary server. For example, I'm going to set it to standby mode. This way the database will be on the read-only state. By checking this box, we prevent the restore to fail by users connected to the database. In this configuration, you can write your application to do a load balance. Now we are going to schedule the restore frequency. I'm setting for 1 minute in our example. Click OK 3 times. Now it will execute the configuration by creating the jobs and the database. Now that the configuration process is done, click Close. Here in the Server B, open the Management Studio. Connect to the instance. Expand the database folder. Here you can see the database is created and it is in read-only status. Right-click the database and open a new query window. I'm going to create a table that doesn't exist in the database. SQL Server sends me the error message. Now in the server A, I am creating the table named test table. Now we insert some data in the table. The table is filled with a row. As you can see here, the backup has been taken every minute. Back to the server B. The backup files have been transferred to the server. Executing the query again. There it is. Now we have the table and the data. The backup files were applied to the server. Here you see the jobs responsible for copying, restoring, and alerting. In the server A, which is the primary, you see the jobs responsible for taking the backup and alerting. The log shipping configuration can be done just using the Management Studio. In the real world, where you have to implement it in several databases, you can generate a script using Management Studio and adapt to use it to implement in more databases. Failing over to the secondary database in case of a primary database failure is a manual process that requires you to synchronize the primary and secondary database. Recover the secondary database and then configure the secondary database as the primary database. This process can take some time, but certainly will be faster than try to recover a server down. Hope you enjoyed this lesson, and thank you for choosing us, and see you on the next lesson.